Hello, 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 and thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Soraya Marshall. And for those of you who do not know, I am an estate planning attorney in Rock Hill, serving both North and South Carolina. And I help people protect the people, things, and choices that matter most to them. All right, so September 10th of every year is World Suicide Prevention Day. And I wanted to take this opportunity to shed light a little bit on suicide, suicidal thoughts, and suicide prevention. And I'm so excited, even though I wish it were under different circumstances, but I'm so excited to welcome a very special guest who's very near and dear to my heart to help me discuss this topic today. So I have with me Janiya. Janiya, if you would please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are.
Hi, if you didn't hear, my name's Janiya. I'm 15. I'm in the 10th grade. And some things I like to do is I like to do SGA, Student Government Association. I'm actually one of the lead representatives for my grade. I enjoy reading and writing. I would like to join Creative Writing Club if they have that. I love playing with my dog, and I struggle with suicidal ideation at times.
All right. So you said a whole lot of fun stuff, and then you ended on a very sensitive topic. So thank you so much for your willingness to chat about this and also to just be candid and yourself as it relates to this topic. So what is it like? I guess I'll just jump right in. What is it like to live and struggle at times with suicidal thoughts?
It's kind of hard to describe, but I would say that it's kind of when, sometimes you're like in really, really, really good moods, but other times it's like you're in a really, really dark place. And sometimes you just go a little too deep into that dark place, and it arises some thoughts that some of us may struggle with, like myself, that it's just hard to deal with.
How would you say that these thoughts affect your daily life and your interaction with others?
I would say that I would say, and I would think that my family would also say, that I'm an extroverted person. I like being around people. And when I struggle with those thoughts, I would say I'm not all there. So even though I'm physically with you, I wouldn't, like, in my mind, in the mental space, I'm not checked in. So I'm kind of like on autopilot.
Autopilot. Okay. And are there specific times or when exactly would you say these thoughts arise?
There's no way to pinpoint it. They kind of come when they come. They're an unwanted guest, I guess. And some days I'll be perfectly fine. Other days they may come, they can stay, they can go. The time that they stay is random. You never know. The time that they come, random, you never know. It kind of can come on at any moment, but also I know that it can come on when triggered. Like if I'm triggered, it may come on. It may not come on as strong or stay as long, but it can come on.
Okay. Now, what are some things that help you cope with these feelings?
Some things I enjoy doing is I like writing, like I mentioned earlier. It's a great outlet for me to express my emotions when I can't find the words to speak out loud or the strength to speak out loud. I also enjoy listening to music. That's something I do a lot, even when I'm asleep. There's always music playing. And I enjoy reading because that transports me to a different world, and I don't have to think about what's going on right now. All I have to think about is what adventure the character's going on, or whatever's going on in the book. I don't have to focus on the bad right now. I can focus on what's going on in this world.
Now, is there anything you wish people knew about this kind of taboo topic, about people who have suicidal thoughts? Is there anything you wish people knew that they don't know or may not know?
I feel like people know more than they actually think they do. But I feel like you said, it's a taboo topic. I feel like people should know that it's not as taboo as it thinks. A lot of people struggle with it a lot more than we actually think, and that we should be more open to talking about it. It shouldn't be such a taboo topic.
Have you ever felt like you couldn't talk to anyone about these feelings?
There have been times where I felt like I couldn't, but not because I couldn't, like I didn't have anybody to go to. It's because I felt like I had to be strong, or I was going to put a burden on somebody else. And I was thinking this person may have too much to deal with to have to think about what I'm going through. And I guess I just didn't say anything.
What kind of support do you find most helpful from friends and family?
I would say listening, because when I was younger, like in elementary school, I mean, I'm still young, I had trouble speaking and like expressing myself with my words. So I would say now that I've gained those words, I have not stopped using them. And I would like if somebody would just, listen to me and let me say how I'm feeling without feeling judged or feel like I'm in the wrong. Just, raw feelings being let out and raw feelings returned, and just an honest, open conversation.
I like that. Raw. Sounds kind of scary when you say that. When you say it like that, it sounds like there could be some really heavy feelings that people may not really be able to digest all at once. So, what would you say to that?
It can be, but I feel like we also have to realize if the raw thoughts that are being said to you are really heavy for you to deal with, you should imagine how it is for the person dealing with that almost every day, or for those couple days, even if it's only for a little. You're hearing about this, and maybe that was already on your mind, but hearing that another person is going through this, I feel like it hits a little bit differently, because I know others who also struggle with stuff like this, and hearing it from them not only does it make me think that I'm not alone, but it also is like, wow, they're going through that. And it's like, I didn't know that, because they're always putting on a smile. But you have to realize that people who smile the brightest and the hardest can be going through the worst battles, and we may not even know.
Mm, man, you're so wise. Wow. Um, so how has professional help like therapy been beneficial to you?
I feel like therapy has been helpful for me, because I've had somebody that I would say doesn't know me as well as somebody else, like you, as an example. You've known me all my life, or my friends who've known parts of me, but I can be my true unapologetic self, and they they can understand from a different level than if somebody who may not be going through this or is going through their own stuff. They have the education to help deal with that and help me process and deal with the emotions that I'm going through. And they can help me understand it, because sometimes it's hard for me to understand stuff, because I'm a very, very smart person, but sometimes it takes a minute, like I lag or something. I have slower Wi-Fi than the rest of us. Sometimes I say that. But I think it definitely helps.
Slower Wi-Fi. I might use that one day. Okay, that's good to know. Um, what do you think schools and communities can do to promote mental health awareness and support?
That's a great question. We're actually trying to work on that in SGA. I feel like I think I've said this a lot, but I'm going to say it again. We need to get it out there. It's I feel like it shouldn't be as taboo as everybody makes it out to be. It should be talked about more. And also, anybody can go through these types of struggles, whether they're my age, whether they're older. You could be any age, any gender, anything, and you can go through this stuff. And it may not be, oh, they have it worse than me. They obviously have a reason to go through this, but it's valid for anybody to go through these feelings, and nobody should have to go through them alone. Should always have somebody to talk to, or a way to release the emotion, like how I have my writing.
I love that. What advice would you give to someone struggling with suicidal thoughts?
I would say I'm not going to say it gets better because I feel like it may not feel that way to you. And I've been told that, and I know personally when I hear that, I just cringe internally like, oh my God. But what I would say is to keep fighting because it may be an ongoing battle, but if you're still going, that means you're winning something. The battle is, it might be long and tiring, but to know that you're still going for however long is a win, a victory. And we should focus on the victories and not whatever losses or negative feelings that we're feeling in this, what I'm going to call a war. We're just focusing on getting to the end of this war. And even if you don't get to the end, focus on the victories.
Well said. Wow. What role would you say that social media plays in your mental health? I think that's something that as a parent sometimes concerns me because I know that there's the possibility of you comparing yourself to other people and seeing something glamorous that's not really there. So how would you say that it specifically plays a role or doesn't in your mental health?
I feel like that question is not as loaded as the others, but it's also loaded in a different way because I feel like social media, it's two-sided. Okay, there's the good and there's the bad. And I feel like it's important to see both parts, but social media, it when you see the good, like you may see some model or something in vacationing on an island or something, and you're like, wow, I wish I was as pretty as her. I wish I was as smart as her. I wish I could go places like her. But in reality, she never went anywhere. She doesn't look like that. She's not rich. And she just edited this because she saw somebody else doing the exact same thing and she thought the same way. So there's negative parts where we're lying about ourselves, not being the true people, and being afraid to show who we truly are because we're scared that people may not like it, or we won't get likes, or people will comment mean things. There's a lot of negative sides to it. But there's also the positive where you can connect with friends. You can see your friends having a great time. You can make videos with your friends having a great time. There's a lot of positives, but there's also a lot of negatives. But I feel like there's pros and cons to everything. You just have to be able to see the pros whenever you see the cons as well.
I like that. See the pros when you see the cons. Do you feel like there's actually enough support out there for teens and young adults struggling with mental health?
I feel like there's more support than we actually know of because, once again, it's not talked about enough, I feel like. Because I feel like once it's like Mental Health Awareness Month, everybody wants to like blast it. But after days like this one pass, it's not as talked about. And I feel like that shouldn't be the case. If we're going to talk about this for a month, why don't we keep talking about it? Because if it's National French Fry Day or Food Day or something like that, and somebody makes food content, they're going to keep making that content after that specific day. So why don't we do that with our mental health? Why don't we still showcase that mental health is a thing, people fight with it, and people are winning the battles? Not everybody will win the battle, but we need to honor those who fought as long as they did. And we don't just, they had their month, it's over. They're still fighting their battle, or they fought their battle. Let's remember them. Let's keep them pushing for the whole year, all the time.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I like that. We should be able to talk about these things more frequently, certainly for more than a day or a month. What are some positive coping mechanisms you've learned?
I have a couple, but well, more than a couple. I've gained some, but I would say maybe the top three that I use. Um, I can get very fidgety at times, but I would say it helps when I get grounded. So if I eat like a very sour candy or something, and I'm kind of like spiraling and I'm out of control, it kind of helps ground me because that super sour, tangy taste is like, whoa. And you kind of come back and like, I'm here, I'm okay. And it kind of helps me remember to keep breathing and help myself calm down before I escalate to a point where it's harder to return. Something else I do is I pretend like I'm on vacation somewhere. So, like, I'll imagine I'm in Italy, I'm swimming in this beautiful ocean, and I'm living my best life, listening to my favorite tunes. I'm doing anything that makes me happy in a dream location. And it doesn't have to be Italy, it could be France, it could be anywhere. Um, it could be Haiti for all I care, it could be anywhere. But I would say another one that I definitely like to use is the five senses. Well, I'm not really sure what it's called, but I call it five senses, which basically you do five things you can see, four things you can hear, three things you can smell, two things you can touch, and one thing that you could taste. So it kind of helps ground you, kind of like the sour candy. It makes you look around and try to focus. Okay, I can see a plant, I can see a printer, I can see the books. Like, it helps you think, these are the things in this room. And it kind of helps you come back to reality, I would say.
Okay. I like those. All right. What are your hopes for the future regarding mental health awareness and support? What do you hope to see change, I guess, in the future?
Once again, I hope it's not as taboo as a topic. I hope that we can be able to talk about it and not think, oh my God, she struggles with mental health. Oh my God, she has anxiety. Oh my God, she has depression. It should be, oh my God, she's fighting anxiety. Oh my God, she's fighting depression. Oh my God, she's winning this battle. It shouldn't be, oh my God, negative. It should be, oh my God, positive. And I feel like once we get to that point, it'll be a lot easier for people to fight these battles, because there will always be haters. But as long as they know that they have those positive people, the majority of us, as long as we're positive, if not all of us, is where we should be. But if we can at least get that majority to be positive, we're already helping people fight the battle. People like myself fight a battle a lot more than we know.
Now, is there anything you'd like to share? Anything else you'd like to share about your experience? And before we wrap up, any pieces of advice that you can give to people who have to support people who may have suicidal thoughts or ideations at times?
I'm not sure if there's anything else I'd like to share except for the fact that you can get through this because you're strong, no matter how you feel. You are strong because you're still fighting this battle. And I would say to people who have to help others who are dealing with suicidal ideation is to listen and to be there for them. And when they come to you, don't turn them away or judge. You listen to what they say. Let them relieve themselves of the stress and the burden, because you have no idea how much of a weight that it is on their shoulders. They may feel like they're carrying the world, and even just talking a little bit can relieve that so much.
Thank you so much, Janiya. I greatly appreciate it. It was very important, and I'm honored to have had you here today. But truly, in looking at the statistics, it does look like, although this is something that is widespread, that a lot of people experience, all ages, all genders, all races experience, it does heavily impact young adults, specifically between the ages of teenage years. I don't even want to say what teenage years are these days, but younger adolescent, younger teenagers to younger adults in their mid-30s. And I think it's important for us to keep talking about this topic, as Janiya said, but I think it's also important for us to have conversations like this with our family members, with our loved ones, and just open up the door for other conversations to happen in our homes and in other places. I think that to see a drop in the suicide rates, we have to better understand what goes on in the mind of someone who thinks about it, because it does start with a thought before it actually happens. But I thought it was very important to talk to not only a young adult, but hey, you're not really a young adult, a young child.
Young adult.
Not only talk to a teenager, but also to talk to someone who experiences this and can give some insight as to how people can be better supported who need it. So thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad you were able to join, and I'll see you next time.